All right, welcome. This is always a fun, exciting meeting. As we're reminded what we always know, we've got the best Parks and Rec department and system in the state and one of the best in the country, and we're going to hear all about it today. As always, we'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with a prayer and pledge of allegiance, and Gloria has agreed to lead us in that.
Okay. May we bow. Heavenly Father, thank you for health and strength this new year and the privilege of beginning each day with you. Let our speech be seasoned with grace and our thoughts and decisions pleasing to you on behalf of the great community of Murfreesboro and Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
May we stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And everyone.
Thank you, Gloria.
Yes.
I believe everyone received their packet earlier in the week. Contained in the packet were the minutes from our December meeting. This time we'll entertain any motion or any corrections or changes that need to be made. If there are none, a motion for approval.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Eddie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you, Mitzi. All right, we'll start out with our presentations of the TRPA awards. As usual, we got a ton of them. Mayor McFarland's joined us today. Shane, welcome. Thanks for being here. We'll turn it over to you. Take it away.
My pleasure to be here. This is always a fun part to be able to recognize not only our department but our city and the work that each of you do. Wanted to say Nate had asked me to do a monologue like the Golden Globes, so not going to do that, and I'm not also going to give a recommendation. You know, we've had a lot of people who've recommended the new bridge over Broad to be named Bridgie McBridgeface. So I saw that you have West Park on there. Let me give you the idea of maybe Parky McParkface to name.
Somebody beat you to that, actually.
Oh, okay, great. The one thing I do want to say, looking back at 2017, I think not only for our community but for our city, 2017 was a year of change. Had a lot of good things happen in this city, and I know with y'all and the inner workings of what you do on the Parks and Recreation Department, a lot of times it's easy to focus on maybe the 1 or 2% improvements on things that we need to do, yet sometimes we forget about the 98% of things that are phenomenal in our city. And so my challenge for 2018 is to focus more on the 98% of the things that are great in this city, and then also work on the things that need improvement. So it's fitting to be here to be able to give these awards out solely because the Parks and Recreation Department and the things that we have in this community for activities are a lot of times done by this city. I mean, January 1st, it was 8 degrees with a feels like temperature of -1, and there were over 300 or so people who came out to run in our annual New Year's Day 5K. And so I want to tell y'all, if you're watching, and also for those in the audience, what you do in this community does not go unnoticed. Murfreesboro continues to be a city inside a park, and this is evident with these awards that are coming across. The Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department staff and volunteers recently received a total of 27 awards at the 2017 Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association, the TRPA, conference held in Franklin. TRPA is a nonprofit organization, society of approximately 1,200 individuals and agency members organized in 1952 as the leader in supporting highly effective professionals to achieve healthy and livable communities. TRPA exists to strengthen and unite those committed to the benefits of parks and recreation. So we'll start with our Volunteer Service Award. This award recognizes individuals and organizations that have made a significant contribution to the field of parks and recreation through volunteer services. This year, we're proud to honor these recipients from Murfreesboro. First, Dr. Gloria Bonner. For her commitment to Bradley Academy and Museum, Dr. Bonner's loving spirit and respected leadership has motivated our community in preserving and honoring our heritage. Dr. Bonner. for her leadership and service at Bradley Academy and Museum, where she has been used her artistic talents to promote education and empowerment, Ashley Buchanan. I've had the opportunity to participate in this. As a matter of fact, my friends have never let me down on this or never let me forget this. We want to thank Nancy Phillips for her commitment not only to Murfreesboro, but Murph's Fun Run. Is Nancy here? All right. If you haven't watched Murfreesboro, you'll get a kick out of watching that. Journeys in Community Living for their service in environmental stewardship through cleanups at Barfield Crescent Park. For his leadership in Murfreesboro Little League, serving and growing young athletes, Adam Sauer. Adam's probably preparing for this upcoming spring, I bet. For his commitment and leadership in helping children and adults with special needs to play baseball, Mr. Luther has been a leader and advocate for the Miracle League of Murfreesboro. Brad Luther. Wow, and you talk about a year of 2017. I can't. One of the most meaningful things I've ever been part of is the opening of the Miracle Field. So if you haven't been out to check that out, go check it out. Brock Lillis, for his service as a volunteer coach for the Murfreesboro Football League. Coach Lillis recently coached 3 teams in 3 different divisions. Wow. David Rodriguez for choosing to invest his time, enthusiasm, and leadership in youth at McFadden Community Center. Jabari Norris for his service and commitment to the youth at McFadden Community Center. You can Photoshop me taller. That would be great. Appreciate that. Lynn Boyd for her support in the success of the Murfreesboro Ultimate Frisbee League. Maggie Engel for her commitment and leadership of the Murfreesboro Kiwanis Softball League. Maggie here? All right, thank you, Maggie. Thomas Irvin for his commitment to youth supports and his service as a volunteer coach for both the Murfreesboro Football League and the Murfreesboro Basketball League. Dr. Brendan Martin for his commitment to Bradley Academy and Museum, where he fostered a student-centered project that brought a new exhibit that makes history shine. Mm-hmm. Brendan? Okay. Okay. We have someone accepting on his behalf. All right. Cindy Rutledge for sharing her skills as a federally licensed master hummingbird bander at the Hummingbird Festival at the Wilderness Station. She's not here. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. All right, we'll move to Special Events, Arts, and Marketing Award. This award is to recognize innovation as creativity in special events, arts, and marketing that inspires others to develop similar programs in their own area. This year, the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department won all 3 categories and was awarded for 2017 Special Events Award for the Best Special Event, Rachel Singer for the Hummingbird Festival. For the Best Marketing Campaign, the 2017 Marketing Award went to Becky Johnson. That's got to be a first. 2017 Art Award. For the Best Arts Program, Susan Hicks for her work with Perform Murfreesboro. All right, we'll move to the Award for Excellence. This award is presented to an individual that has demonstrated outstanding achievement in the field of resource management. In recognition of his partnership and teamwork with Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department, staff nominated a member of the Urban Environmental Department. This year's award goes to Kane Adams. Okay, the Longfellow Aquatics Award. This award recognizes outstanding programming and accomplishments in aquatics. This year's awards recipient is Carrie Stafford, Assistant Aquatics Director Coordinator. The Robert H. Horsley Award. The Robert H. Horsley Award is given annually by the municipal county section to recognize community center personnel who have planned, conducted, or were responsible for the most outstanding recreation program during the year. This year's award recipient is Janelle Jenkins, Facility Operations Coordinator for at Patterson Park Community Center.
Russell, don't hurt your back trying to get down to his level.
That's right. Oh, that's a first too. All right, the 4-star award for marketing campaign. The marketing campaign award is awarded to the best comprehensive and impactful marketing campaign in the state of Tennessee, launched by our Parks and Recreation Department. Park Smart is a campaign created to increase awareness of park safety and is already being used as a model across the state. The campaign was led in partnership with Murfreesboro Police Department by Melinda Tate. Melinda can't be here today, so Angela Jackson will be accepting the award. Melinda retired this year. As y'all know, the Tate family started our Murfreesboro Half Marathon. So I think this year was our 12th year, I believe, 11th or 12th year, 11th year. So the Tate family has been responsible for probably what I'd say the most visible event that has ever taken place in the city of Murfreesboro as far as a Parks and Recreation event. So we're thankful for that family. The 4-Star Award for Festival or Special Event. This is a festival or special event award recognizes an outstanding festival or special event. In November of 2016, a new music festival was launched to highlight local and national indie rock and folk talent. The recipient of this award is the Acorn Festival. Pam Williams will be accepting. The 4-Star Award for Individual Service recognizes a person's participation on a board, commission, committee, or council that influences, benefits, and strengthens recreation in the community. Receiving the award for his role in years of service to the Greenway Special Projects Committee is Kent Seiler. Eddie, do you want to say anything for Kent?
I don't know anything good to say about Kent.
All right.
No, he's well deserving, and it is phenomenal how much Kent has done and continues to do for this
Absolutely.
city. It's phenomenal, and our Greenway system would not be the same without Kent. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Speaking of a community that would not be the same without an individual or group, our 4-Star Award benefactor recognizes significant gifts to a Parks and Recreation Department agency for the purpose of enhancing the quality of life in their community. We can all agree that the new Miracle Field has certainly enhanced Murfreesboro. Last year, Project 1-4 was recognized for their partnership with the city for this amazing facility and program. This year, I'm honored to present the Christy Houston Foundation this 4-Star Award for their contribution not only to the Murfreesboro Miracle Field, but to this entire community and county. Ann Davis is here to accept on behalf of the Christy Houston Foundation. The Lifetime Member Award is one of the highest awards given to the field in the field of Parks and Recreation. It honors and recognizes an individual who has made numerous and significant long-term contributions within the Parks and Recreation profession. Marlene Sewell dedicated her professional career to Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department, and since 1986 brought joy to thousands of children and families. Marlene. The TRPA President's Award. Each year, Parks and Recreation professionals from across the state elect a president to represent and guide the agency. In 2017, Thomas Laird was honored for serving in the role of the president of the TRPA. Thomas has another engagement this afternoon, but we'd like to take a moment to recognize his service to his profession. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas is probably preparing for spring baseball too, right? The President's Cup. Once again, Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department received recognition as the department that most overall reflects the professional standards set by the TRPA for contributions made both to the state and to the National Association for Recreation and Parks in the population category of 100,000 and over. Angela Jackson, Director. This is where we were supposed to have the All We Do Is Win category queued up that was supposed to come on the And finally, in addition to awards from the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association, we'd like to take this moment to acknowledge another award. The Southeastern Museum Conference Student Work in Museums competition recognizes university students throughout the region for their important and challenging work in the Southeastern Museums. Lindsay Fisher and Tiffany Schaefer represented Bradley Academy and Middle Tennessee State University to accept one of the 2017 swim awards in New Orleans this past September. Lindsay was the project director for the gallery redesign of the Bradley Holloway Room at Bradley Academy Museum and Cultural Center. The exhibit is titled Education and Empowerment, African American Schools in Rutherford County, and is currently open. I don't have the gavel to call us to order, but
That's all?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, would want to say specifically to each of you, many of y'all who are watching may not know this, but these individuals who are on this board give their time and their talents to the city of Murfreesboro, and they do that freely. So I want to thank y'all on behalf of the City Council for what you do, how you make not only our organization and our community better, but really if you go out to these ball fields, and I'm on the ball fields, the greenways, the soccer fields, the streets, riding, biking, running. I get to do a lot with a lot of different people. And if you see what you're doing and the fruits of what you're doing for the kids and our families in this community, we're very proud that you're sitting there today. So thank you so much for your hard work. And I think it's a direct reflection on the awards we win, the leadership that we have from this commission. So thank you all for each of your service.
Shane, thanks as always for being here. This is a fun day. There's a reason we've won the President's Cup for so long, and it's sitting in his room. And all the other volunteers and staff, you are what make this possible, particularly to the volunteers. I say it every time I get the opportunity because you can't say it enough. There is no way we could pull off the level of programming that we do for our community without the support of the hundreds and thousands of volunteers that make it happen. Brock, you're an animal. I coached a youth football team for 2 years and just had one and had a headache at the end of the season. So 3, I can't even imagine. So at this time, I'm going to ask anybody that's any of our guests that are non-staff, if you would, please step out, follow Becky, and y'all are going to go right outside, and she's going to get some group pictures. And for the staff that are with us, y'all are going to do yours after the meeting. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Clean things out, didn't it?
Okay, we'll keep going. Our next item, Rachel has joined us today. Rachel, congratulations.
Thank you.
And she's going to the consideration of the Borough Adventure Fest, and then you also have the next item, which is the scientific permit.
All right. So my first item is just consideration of a new program with a partnership with Candle Wishes Foundation. This is a great opportunity that we would have to partner with a fantastic 501c3 organization that's here in our community that gives so much back. So the premise of the Borough Adventure Fest would be just to unite all of our adventure seekers and outdoor enthusiasts to come out to Barfield Crescent Campground. They would do the 1 mile hike in, and then once they get back to the campground, there'll be a whole festival, so music and food, and have a lot of outdoor people that are already in our community to kind of educate people and just be able to connect people. So we would have things like how to pitch a tent, mountain biking, hammocks, slacklining, lots of outdoor programs that you can do. So I would just like your consideration and approval to go forward with this new program.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Rachel regarding this new program? There are none. We need a motion for approval as presented.
I move approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. And now on to the scientific permit.
Okay, well, I really like how the mayor says it, that we are a city within a park, and this kind of goes right into that, is that more and more it lends, our city and all of our green spaces, our waterways, our trails, just lends naturally for research opportunities. And over the years, we've had several go on. So this is a permit that just kind of the official process that people would go ahead and apply, and we would be able to kind of capture that data, see what they're doing, while also going over making sure that waivers have been signed, safety precautions are being followed, methods, and that sort of thing. So just a good open line of communication with the research that's going on our city properties. So the actual permit would be free, but they would apply and they'd have to be approved before field work could start.
Okay. Any questions regarding this new permit?
Just a quick, if you want to add, but just a suggestion, when you ask for the project synopsis, you may want to ask for if there's any research grants that are tied to their research,
Okay,
just to know if there's any
that's a
money
good thought.
behind it.
Thank you.
Good observation.
The other thing that I would say is, and I was trying to think through when this could happen, but I think it could. But if there's ever any involvement with human subjects, to ask for an IRB approval, if that's required, and if so, then to ask for a copy of that, I think is going to be important to you, Rachel.
Okay.
Actually, that should be required in there.
Yeah.
Any university research project has to go through what's the institutional review board process, and you're going to want to make sure that that's
Right.
done.
Okay.
Even if there's no chance of any human subjects in it, still, it's a very good point.
Okay.
Good points. Any other suggested changes? So we need a motion for approval with the approved or recommended changes.
I move approval.
Thank you.
For your
Is there a second?
I second it.
Thanks, Ricky.
I second it.
Thank you. All right. Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Thanks,
you.
Rachel. Item 4 is a consideration of Working Artists Initiative. Lisa's with us today. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm here to propose the Working Artist Initiative recommendation. Working Artist Initiative is a program designed to encourage artists from any genre. These are writers, illustrators, poets, screenwriters, to make the time to make their art. So many times artists need encouragement, right, and accountability. So we want to foster and flourish creative thinking among the artist community. And we do this through collaboration, accountability, and encouragement. Participants will meet every other week for 13 weeks. So there's only 7 meetings that we're going to be having. And the goal is to commit to the completion of any project that they choose. And it's encouraged to develop strong habits for them and to really make a foundation for future projects. So to encourage them to create and make their art. In each of these meetings, artists will share their progress, they'll renew their commitments, and they'll also comment on the other projects. Each week, one artist will propose or they'll share what their project is. And then the other artists will be able to collaborate with them. They'll make suggestions, they'll encourage, and it gives the artist an opportunity to articulate just what and why they're doing what they're doing, which is strengthening to them as well. If all goes well, they should have a finished or just about finished project that this eluded them before the commitment that they gave during this project the collaboration and the accountability that it serves for them. The fiscal impact is about $10 a person is what we're going to charge. The cost to us is about, we estimated about $150, and that's a high estimate, but that includes hospitality and a brochure that we're going to give them, a folder with information. It's a calendar so that they can make their commitments each week. And that's it. I just have that up for recommendation.
Thanks, Lisa. Any questions or comments regarding this new program for Lisa? There are none. We need a motion for approval.
I'll move to.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Eddie. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is approved. Lisa, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is we're going to go through the consideration of the West Park naming. Obviously, this is something, a topic of discussion we've had ongoing for a while, and so we're kind of through some of the formal process and at the point where we can give some consideration to some things, and Nate's going to kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. We're currently in the planning process for a park that's going to be 123 acres in the Blackman area. We've had a working title for some time, and people have come to know it as West Park. We're really excited about where we are in that plan and look forward to bringing you an update in the next couple of months about where we are. And like I said, we're really pleased with the process that's been made, the progress that's been made, and I think you will be as too. So according to the Public Parks, Parklands, and Facilities Naming Policy, this commission, I quote, shall be responsible for recommending to the Murfreesboro City Council the naming of all public parks and facilities in the city of Murfreesboro, subject to the approval of City Council. Just for your reference, I put that policy in front of you in case you need to look at that. On November 1st, 2017, you approved for us to open it up to the public to receive naming suggestions. We had a great response. We had 244 named suggestions come in between November 1st and January 4th. In your packet, you have a consolidated list of those suggestions, unduplicated, and I think you've had a chance to look at those. So we're submitting these to you for your consideration and welcome your direction on how you would like to move forward.
Okay. So again, to clarify, really all we're trying to do today is come to a consensus amongst our group that we will pass along to council. Council would make ultimately the final decision on this.
And we're not necessarily in a time crunch right now. There is the option to do some more work on it, so I just want to put that out there.
Right.
We're not necessarily requesting a name specifically today. It's just the process of going through.
If we can come up with one we're comfortable with, we can, and but that's kind of the purpose. Now, also to clarify, all we're doing today is just trying to come up with some type of recommendation for the park as a whole. Any other naming opportunities that may come down the road where we're naming pavilions or fields and all this stuff, that's a process that will occur later down the road.
One more thing, Mr. Chairman. I do have that full list, a copy for everybody. If you would like to see that at any time, I've got those right here.
Parky McParkface is in there.
Parky McParkface is on there.
So who wants to start?
I'll start. I'm not necessarily always in favor of naming for a person, but I do think in this case, when I look at the list, there is one name that I see that really jumps out to me. I think that this person certainly gave many, many years to Parks and Rec and then subsequently followed with service to the school board. There are names on here that certainly have done a lot for the entire community. But when I look, and so they deserve recognition, I understand that. But when I think about specifically about Parks and Rec, I think Rainier's name sticks out to me. And I think if there is any consideration given to naming a park for a person, I think that, at least in my opinion, is the name. I know that with schools, there was one time when we did not name after people, and we have subsequently changed that because of the impact certain people had. And I think without question, Dennis Rainier gave the vast majority of his life to Parks and Rec, and then subsequently followed up until his death, actually, with the school board. So I appreciate very much his service, and I could see his name being representative of what the park is about and about what Parks and Rec, the whole quality of life, would be about.
Excellent. Thank you, Linda. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I too, when I look at this list, it's such a, there's so many people, and you know, and of course the name Rainier is, I mean, at the top of the list. And then I saw the Duffy Rainier, and then I see all these other names, and then to me, as you mentioned earlier, there's so many other opportunities to name the fields after different legends in our community, so to speak, or the different areas or something like that. So, and kind of looking towards the future as far as naming names and stuff, you know, seems like we've got a good geographic thing going now with like Barfield Park or Patterson Community, or, you know, some of those. And when I see that, then I go simple. I see Blackman Park. You know, it's easy to name to the community, and it's easy to describe to somebody in the future. Like that's at Blackman Park. This is at Barfield Park. You know, something like that. So I was, you know, that's kind of my thoughts on some of that. It's kind of sticking with the geographic thing.
That's a good point. Bill?
I think we have two questions. We want to name it after an individual or a location. If we want to name it after an individual, I think Duffy Rainier is the only choice we have. Those two being built this program to where we are today. Great workers, great individuals, loved recreation, that loved this program, and I think it'd be a great honor for them.
It's a good point, Bill. Any others?
I feel like I'm the newbie. Only been in the community for 15 years, and I feel like I've only been here a day. So I don't know these individuals personally. So help me out. Duffy and Rainier, were they two individuals that could not be separated? Because there's going to be more naming opportunities.
Those are two longtime directors.
Okay, because this isn't the last park or the last opportunity to name something. So I'm just wondering, you know, if Rainier is a good name, that doesn't mean that Duffy would be excluded in the future. So if these are two individuals that we feel very strongly should have something named for them, maybe you start with one and go to a second one for our next, because we're going to keep building, I know.
Duffy took the program when the only help he had was some schoolboys.
And
I
Dennis.
think Ray is dirty and sweaty as any worker the city had. He didn't back off from working and trying to make recreation a reality. And Ray was a very close friend of mine. I guess the reason I feel as close to him as I do. But I think it would be a great honor for he. And Dennis continued his programs on. Dennis done a great job.
That's good points. Any others?
I agree with everything that's been said here today. I mean, we're fortunate that we have so many great names in Murfreesboro. Obviously, Duffy Rainier, John Hood, Mary Huda, the McDonald property that the park is located on, Roy McGee, and the list would go on and on. Grantland Rice, which we used to have a Grantland Rice Park, which recognized Grantland Rice for his national celebrity as a sports writer. But and Monty Hale, who was well known locally for his radio broadcasting and sports coverage. John Hood was one of those who did the sports coverage with Monty. But I just think that we've got so many good names, and there's so many opportunities here that I know Eddie earlier had mentioned legend. I think this whole park could be a park of legends, or but that's not one of our choices. But there are naming opportunities here. Of course, I've always got concern when you name something for somebody who was on the payroll. And I don't mean that disrespectful at all, because I know that Dennis and Ray both went way beyond what was expected for a department head. But they were on the salary and they were paid to do the job that they did. The others, I mean, Mary Hood, I don't know that she got paid anything as far as Parks and Rec was concerned, but she was definitely a supporter of Murfreesboro's appearance and concerned with our park system as well. And so I think there could be an argument made for any of these. But again, I'll go back to what Eddie said earlier. When I like to keep things simple so that people understand where it is you're talking about and what it is you're talking about. And let's face it, there's no easier way to say Patterson Park is in the Patterson community. The Barfield Park is in the Barfield community. The Siegel Park is not in the Siegel community, but it is kind of where the Siegel Farm was, and the property was donated. So I think it was given an exception in the sense that we did use a person's name on it because he donated the property. The McDonald's did not donate the property. The city bought the property from them. So I think that might be the minor difference there. But but me personally, it's in the Blackman community, and it's an important part of that part of town. But Blackman Community Park was one of the suggestions. Blackman Regional or Farms Regional Park was one of the suggestions. But again, in order just to keep it simple, Blackman Park keeps coming back to me as being the simplest thing to call this, where everybody would know where you're talking about. I know that we've talked about the number one vote getter on the bridge currently, I think, is Bridging Me Bridge Face. I don't know if they're trying to make a joke out of it or if they passionately feel. I mean, I talked to one person who passionately felt that would be the best name for the bridge. To me, I like to keep things simple and logical as you possibly can. If I said it's the Memorial Bridge at Broad Street, that would be pretty easy for you to guess where that would be located. If I call it, here I'm going to use somebody's name, Bill Jones. If I call it the Bill Jones Bridge, when there's three bridges crossing Broad Street, you're going to have to know the difference between Bill Jones and Dee and Eddie, if that were the names for the other two bridges. So when you start individualizing them, you start complicating things. Now, not to say that these people's service is not phenomenal as well as these guys sitting beside me here, but the important thing that we do, I think, is to keep it simple so that people understand. So if we call it the Memorial Bridge at Broad, the Northfield Bridge at Broad, and the Thompson Bridge at Broad, I don't have to tell you where they're located. You pretty much know. And in this case, the park is located in just about as center heart of Blackman as you could possibly get. So I think that in order to keep it simple, to keep it concise, and so that everybody knows what we're talking about, the donation or the contribution that these people who have their name on this list, I mean, it's phenomenal what they have done for this community. I do think there's opportunities for us to have a McDonald Drive, and certainly Grantland Rice. We used to have a park that was named for Grantland Rice, but as time has gone by, there were 20,000 people in Murfreesboro when Grantland Rice was popular. There was probably 28 to 30,000 people when Ray Duffy was running our city, Parks and Rec. But as time goes by, the names don't become less important. But I think there's an opportunity here for us to, inside this park, remember all those legends who have contributed, and it goes to Kenny Gerhardt, who played professional baseball, Chuck Taylor, Robert James, and the list goes on of all the professional athletes who have come out of Murfreesboro, who grew up here. And I think the pavilions have the opportunity to have Mr. Rainier's name, Mr. Duffy's name, so that we could have a park full of legends' names and educate people when they come to the park about the history, not just have one sign at the entrance that this park was named after this person, but to have an entire park full of education. And I'm down to the point that I would like to see, some tags on trees and stuff inside the park so that the entire walk through the park is an educational experience, whether it be just learning about the environment in which you're surrounded by, but also the history that comes along with being in part of this community. So I probably got the longest speech of anybody here, but I don't want to bore you with
You're the elected official. You're supposed to.
But I like keeping things simple, so Blackman Park would be my suggestion.
Thanks, Eddie. Well, I'll admit, as we've been talking about this for the past little bit, not just today, I thought I walked in this room with my mind made up. But having had conversation, not just now, but at other times with several of you and others, I got to admit I like Blackman Park. I think that sets the precedent has already been set. I think we've done it with some other parks, and it makes a lot of sense. But it also makes, to Charlie's point, I mean, we're not done growing. So as we expand geographically into other areas, it makes that part of it very easy. And I think there are plenty of opportunities, to Eddie's point, to memorialize folks that were important to this program. I can remember Dennis bossed me around lining fields for a long time while he was working for Mr. Duffy. But, as Charlie pointed out, and this kind of came up in some of the other conversations, somebody that didn't grow up in Murfreesboro won't remember those folks. And so not that means we shouldn't do it. I just think that points to me that it probably makes more sense to make those internal memorials rather than naming the big park. Because I think, like Eddie was saying, like the point's been made several times, when you're telling somebody where we are, or trying to describe where the park is, it's pretty easy when you go, it's at Barfield Park. I mean, they can figure that out. And Blackman Park, it's pretty easy to figure out. So that's kind of where I am. I like Blackman Park. Any other?
Yeah, I like the region. Since we was looking for a park in that area, I agree with Blackman Park as well. Not saying that these names on the list are not great individuals who contribute to the growth and had the foresight to make the park what it is today. But I do like it, just simple Blackman Park, because that's the area that it served in, so, and that community. So,
thanks, Ricky. Is everybody comfortable with that? Is that the recommendation that we want to make, or do we want to think on it until our next meeting and make the recommendation then?
Does the commission ever make a couple of recommendations and then leave it to the council, or has it been tradition that? And I'm just thinking about school board and committee, so that's my world.
Yeah, ideally in the past, I can't. Eddie can speak to this better, but I mean, we've tried to send a recommendation, and it's not final. I mean, the council makes the final decision, but I think at times it makes their job easier if we've kind of narrowed it down to our consensus. But that doesn't mean that we can't come up, send 2 or 3 to them, and let them pick from that.
So even if we make a recommendation, council certainly has the authority to change that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Would we be better off to just do an individual roll call right now and let each person make the suggestion that they would like to suggest? And I'll assure you, I'll support whatever name that y'all want me to carry forward to the council.
This is one of those.
And try and encourage them that this is the will of this board. But But I think this may be one of those situations where we each need to place a vote and see where we're at. And if we've got enough votes that we've got a majority, we're good. If we don't have a majority, then maybe we need to think about it a little bit. So,
I think that's a great idea, and we're in a great situation. There is no wrong. So Linda, let's start with you, and we'll just kind of work our way around.
My preference, obviously, because again of the deep commitment and I could go with the Duffy Rainier because I understand the impact that he had here.
Okay. Thank you. Ricky?
Again, the Blackman Park is my recommendation.
Okay. Eddie?
Blackman Park would be my recommendation.
Eddie?
I like Blackman Park.
Okay. I think everybody knows. I made mine pretty clear. Gloria?
Duffy Rainier.
Okay. John?
Well, as somebody that had a hard time figuring out where West Park was, after a couple of our meetings, the Blackman Park one makes sense to me, because now I got an idea of where it is. And so I'll go with Blackman Park.
Okay. Bill, you're ex officio, but I'd still like your
I
opinion.
stick with what I said.
You stick
Duffy
with?
Rainier.
Well, I think they have a consensus, a majority at least. So is everybody comfortable sending Blackman Park?
And I do appreciate, I think the idea, if it becomes Blackman Park, then either to have somehow to consider, I think Eddie's right about
Absolutely.
the importance of the people, and particularly those that were so intimately related to Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I think
And-
that's,
and
to me, the
Eddie's point earlier,
differentiation.
Yeah, we've lost some of our parks over the years just from different phases of growth, and I think it's important. It was important enough to have a park in their name at that time. I think it's important that we find a way to memorialize those folks in our properties now, and I think there are plenty of opportunities to do that. I couldn't agree more.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, when we bring back the update, I think you'll welcome what you'll see in the naming opportunities that will present themselves within that park of distinct areas. If that helps this conversation, I think we'll be bringing that hopefully in the next 2 months.
So that, we don't really need to vote this, do we? Do we need a motion?
I would take it, a motion and a second would be appropriate for your recommendation.
So we need a motion to make our recommendation to be Blackman Park to council, but also encourage them to consider future naming rights inside the parks. Anybody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thanks. Good work.
And I want to compliment all the people who did make the suggestions, because, I mean, we had some phenomenal choices on here. Everything from Burnt Knob to Adams Hines. The one that I'd have never voted for was the West Rutherford Woods Nature Recreational Area, because I'd have never remembered it. At that park out there that I don't know the name of. But really, thanks to everybody who contributed ideas and a voice on this, because I do think it's very important that we look at all the options, and truly we had some great choices.
I agree. Okay. Last but certainly not least, as always, Becky's going to close us out with an update on upcoming events.
All right, good afternoon. First program we have on our list is the Coffee Marathon. It's time to register for that. This is a great program, especially those who are starting out with walking and running and want to complete a marathon. You can break it up into 7 different sections with the 7 different coffee stops or shops that we have. You just visit those participating locations and complete the route associated with that. And when you're done, you get a commemorative coffee mug for your participation in the Coffee Marathon. And you can register for that through runsignup.com. Next, coming up on Saturday, January 20th at 10 a.m. is the Silly Grandpa concert. That is for all ages, but it is definitely geared towards your preschoolers. They really enjoy that, and that is at the Wilderness Station and is free to attend. And then Thursday, January 25th, we have our annual African American Cultural Night. That is in cooperation with Murfreesboro City Schools and Patterson Park Community Center, and that is from 4 to 7 at Patterson Park on Thursday, January 25th.
Thank you for saying that, because that's what I was looking for.
And then we have Music in the Wild featuring Runaway Home. That is inside at the Wilderness Station. Sometimes people are a little leery of coming to a concert outdoors on Saturday, January 27th. So it is inside at the Wilderness Station from 6:30 to 8:30, and it is free to attend. Then for your children ages 7 and up, we have a Valentine Tea at Cannonsburg Village. That is Wednesday, February 8th from 4 to 6. We do ask that people call Cannonsburg Village and sign up ahead of time. But it's a really cute event. The participants come all dressed up for their tea at the historical Cannonsburg Village. Then we have a Winter Wonderland party for preschoolers, which is Saturday, February 10th. It's for ages 3 to 5. It's $3 to participate, and we do ask that you call the Wilderness Station to make your reservation. And for more information on all of those programs, you can pick up our Winter Rec Connection. You can go to murfreesborotn.gov/parks or to Facebook. And then I also want to just mention that we started off 2018 with the New Year's Day 5K, which was quite chilly that very first day. And then we had the Polar Bear Plunge, which was this past Saturday. I think the pool temperature was 34 degrees and the air temperature was even colder than that. There were huge chunks of ice in the pool. And we have a video of the Polar Bear Plunge.
Have it ready when I get it. No, don't have it ready. Don't do it! Don't do it!
Oh, gosh.
So Bart Fights jumped almost every year, and he waited till everybody was done because I think he was still trying to decide if he was going to do it while people were jumping in. So Dr. Apigian here did not just jump once, he jumped twice. So lots of fun. We had a big turnout. We started off the year, like Becky said, a lot of fun. New Year's Day, it was just a cold week for Parks and Recreation.
Well, that's fun.
He's official now.
Thank you, sir. Next year, we're going to go holding hands, jumping together. What do you think?
Sorry, buddy, that's not a rite of passage in this area. I've never done it, and you know, the fact that you went twice just proves because you're an educator doesn't make you smart.
I love this city for
We've tried that stunt on every person who's came on this board, and nobody's fallen for it except you.
Yeah. Well, I want to compliment you guys. We got a lot done and stayed on time in our hour allotment. So appreciate everything you guys do. And at this time, we'll stand adjourned.
Thank you.